So why did I decide to go with the 460 Roland? Well, let's start with I love the 357 Magnum. I love the 454 Casull. I love the 460 Magnum. I love Magnums, and I wanted something with some punch in the semi-auto. Now, 50 AE isn't going to cut it for me because a Desert Eagle doesn't fit in my hands. My hands are too small. So I wanted a semi-automatic that was as powerful as a 357 Magnum or more. And I have considered 10 millimeter for a long time. Long time I considered 10 millimeter. And I was actually at the range and I got to shoot one. Someone had a 1911 chambered in 10 millimeter, and I happened to have my 1911 chambered in 45 ACP. And we were both shooting full metal jacket ammo, and I just wasn't impressed. I really felt like, it's pretty much the same as 45 ACP. Then I got to thinking about, you know what? If I got a 10 millimeter, I got to get new brass, new bullets, new dies, new everything, because I don't have anything 40 caliber. I don't reload for anything that's interchangeable with that. So really would be a whole lot of expense because I like to reload all the calibers I shoot. And so, and then I got to looking and I compared the 10 millimeter to the 357 Magnum. And this is where I've always heard, oh, the 10 millimeter is a 357 Magnum in a semi-auto. And well, not really. So if you look at these loads, these are a variety of loads. They're hollow point loads that I've pulled from different online manufacturers, and they're published info from the box. And if you look at the top end 10 mil, there's a couple of these that are touching 700 foot-pounds. One that goes to almost 750. Okay, and if you look at 357 Magnum, some of the wimpiest ones go 550, 580. But some of the stouter ones go over 800. And this is not counting someone like Buffalo Bore, who really loads them hot. And just averaged kind of the same brands for 10 millimeter and 357 Magnum. And here's what I came up with: an average of 632 for 10 mil and basically 703 for 357 Mag. And specifically for the purposes of this video, I want to pay attention to these yellow loadings, which are Underwood ammo. Now, Underwood in 357 Magnum, conventional hollow points, had a 125 grain bullet that produces about 755 foot-pounds of energy, and 158 grain bullet that produces almost 800 foot-pounds. Now, in the 10 millimeter, they're at 675, basically 750, and basically 700. And so, is the 10 mil in the 357 Magnum range? Yes. But the high end of the 10 mil is the low end of the 357. So technically, a 10 millimeter is as powerful as a 357 Magnum. But then I came across the 460 Roland. Now, I found the 460 Roland online, and the first thing I did was look at ballistics, and the second thing I did was look at reloading. I'm going to show you guys some ballistics here in a minute, but before I do that, I realized reloading the 460 Roland would be easy because it takes the same bullets as 45 ACP. It takes the same powders as 45 ACP. Same primers, same dies. The only thing new for me would be the brass. You do have to have 460 Roland brass. Okay, that's not too much of an imposition. So then I started looking at ballistics, and here's what I found. The first thing I started with was, let's compare the 460 Roland to 45 ACP, because let's be honest, if I'm going to try and upgrade, and I'm really not beating the 45 ACP by much, why bother? Okay, and I have a couple of guns that are 45 ACP plus P rated, so I wanted something that was a significant step up. So on the right, you see 45 ACP, and the loads that have stars next to them are plus P loads. And you see a range from the low 400s up into the 500s. There's one load that pushes to 590. That's not normal for 45 ACP. Normally your loads are in the 400s or the very low 500s, 510, 530. The 590 is a little bit of a misnomer, but that's factory ammo off the box, just like the previous ballistics I showed you. And so the average 45 ACP came up to be 452 foot-pounds. That's including about half of these loads being plus P loads. Well, the 460 Roland, if I take the 3 loadings available from Underwood Ammo in yellow, and then some hand load data that is available from 460roland.com or Clark's Custom Guns, and that's in blue, you'll see some muzzle energies as low as 716, but as high as 1,000. When we average those out, we get about 906. I'll call it 910 for simplicity's sake. So, it's a definite step up from the 45 ACP. So then it was like, okay, well, how does it compare to the 10 mil? So I took my previous 10 mil data and I included the Underwood ammo for this because if you just look at the averages, it beats the 10 mil by almost 300 foot-pounds. That's pretty significant, y'all. But then you look at the Underwood loadings, okay, comparing apples to apples. The 3 Underwood loadings in 460 Roland come up to be basically 1,000 foot-pounds, just a hair under. If you average those 3, you're looking like 980 foot-pounds. The 10 mil loads come up around 700, so you're looking at well over 200, 250 foot-pounds of energy comparing those Underwood loads to each other. So the 460 is definitely a step up from the 10 mil, and I have all the stuff except the brass to load it. So then I said, well, how does 460 Roland compare to 357 Magnum? And again, we see here the 2 Underwood loads, 754 and 788, compared to the 3 Underwood loads in 460 Roland. And again, comparing Underwood to Underwood, or just comparing averages to averages, the 460 Roland is, in fact, more powerful than the 357 Magnum. Now, the wimpiest 460 Roland load I could find was a CFE load, which is not a really Magnum powder load. It's really a fast-burning powder. 240 grains going 1160 feet per second. That load says it should generate about 716 foot-pounds. There are some 357 loads that reach and exceed that, and so there is some overlap. But in general, most of the 460 loads well exceed most 357 Magnum's loads. And so I would say it is more powerful than the 357 Magnum. And at this point, looking at the data, this is when I got really interested. Now, all of the articles I saw online on 460roland.com and on the internet, it was, oh, you can carry a 44 Magnum in a semi-auto. And they were comparing the 460 Roland to a 44 Magnum. So that was my next step, to compare the 44 Mag to the 460 Roland. And then again, I went to the same site and I pulled a bunch of factory hollow points. These are not the extreme penetrators, the all brass or anything. It's just standard run-of-the-mill Hornady XTP, Federal, HST. It's your typical hollow points that you would see. Again, the hand loads are in blue. Again, the Underwood ammo is in yellow. Now, when I took these loads for 44 Magnum, I got an average of just over 1,000 foot-pounds. Whereas again, with the 460 Roland, you're a touch over 900 foot-pounds. So looking at that, it looks like the average 44 Mag is more powerful than the 460 Roland. And so very much how I would say the hottest 10 mils are in the range of the 357 Magnum. But the 357 Magnum overall is slightly more powerful. I would say that the 460 Roland is in the range of the 44 Magnum, and this data shows that. But the real hot 44 Magnums are going to exceed the 460 Roland. So, with that said, is it a 44 Magnum in the semi-auto? Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far. But it is more powerful than a 357. And a 460 Roland load from Underwood Ammo is about 100, 130 foot-pounds less than a 44 Magnum from Underwood Ammo. So it's not quite as powerful, but it's pretty darn close. So anyway, I hope that helps, guys. I hope it's interesting. You're going to see me shooting this gun a bunch, and I look forward to seeing you on the range.